create that little path there. One thing that we could do while we're drawing is we can change the thickness of the stroke. So up here under stroke, it's at 1 point as a default. It's not too thick, but it's a little bit thick while I'm drawing. Maybe while I'm drawing, I just want something thinner than that, maybe really narrow, like 0.25. And then I can be a little bit more precise. Sort of demoing this pen tool without explaining exactly what I'm doing. So let me go ahead and try to create this shape here, this black shape. So what I'm going to do, as I use the pen tool, I want to create this curved shape. I'm going to click and drag out these little handles. And notice when I'm holding the mouse key as I drag, and the handles get longer, and as I rotate or move the mouse, the handles are rotating. And the direction that I rotate these handles, or the direction that they're pointing as I rotate them, is the direction that the line is going to go as I move my mouse down to set the next anchor point. So I'm setting the next anchor point and I'm dragging out these handles. All right, so I'm clicking and dragging anchor points as I go. And what I'm doing now is I'm closing the path. So if I go back to my original anchor point, and zoom in, go back to my original anchor point, and I hover over that, I see a little hollow circle right next to my mouse. That means if I click and drag right on this anchor point, I'm going to close that path. And the reason that it's important that you close your path is so that you can control, when I fill this, I know exactly where the area of the fill is going to go. It's going to fill inside of the path that I drew. So here's something. The path is not really, there's some little, it doesn't look great. There's some areas that I'd like to fix up on here. So if I'm in my pen tool and I click on this anchor point and I hold down the command key as I click on the anchor point, it's giving me the handles. So again, I'll try right over here. I'll get it in really close. Click on this anchor point holding the command key. Control if you're on a PC. And it shows me these handles. Now if I still am holding the command key, I can click and drag the handle and rotate it, and it's going to change the shape of my path. So again, command key, control if you're on a PC. I can click and drag the anchor point and change the shape of my path. Now I just exaggerated that so that you could see how it works. I can move this around. I can change the length of my handles, and it modifies the path. And that's something that you can experiment with as you're working with the pen tool. All right, so let's say I want to straighten these out. I'm holding command. I'm rotating my handles. I can even click on the anchor point, holding command, and move it. And then click on the handles and rotate those or move those so that I can kind of fix this up. If I think I have too many handles, like maybe I don't need this handle. Maybe this handle is what's creating this sort of little kink in this path. Then if I just let go of the command key and I hover over that anchor point, you can see that it's turns into a little minus sign. That means if I click that anchor point, it's just going to disappear. So if you have too many anchor points, you might have sort of a non-smooth line. Like every time you set an anchor point, it's going to change the direction of your path. So maybe this anchor point isn't necessary. So if I click on that anchor point, I can delete that anchor point as well. So my path is just getting a little bit smoother. I can move anchor points and rotate those handles to refine the shape of my path. All right, so now I have this shape that what I can do Just make a little bit more adjustment on that. Now what I can do with this shape is I want to get rid of the stroke and I want to fill this with black, so I can go back to my swatches and I can swap them, and now I have a black shape. If I want to get out of my pen tool, deselect this object, I can go back to selection tool, or again Command V, just hit V, I'm sorry, the V key, and deselect. All right, and I have my first part of my drawing.